Okie dokie, at long last, here we are, London, England. I know the last two videos I talked about getting to London and how crazy of an experience it was coming from Paris, and a horror story that we had that definitely you can avoid after learning from my mistakes, so catch that video if you haven't already, and then a day in York. But now this is the first full day of our trip in London. And we woke up with getting our continental breakfast, which they had a pretty decent one, and I ate as much as I could so that I could be energized for the day. And you bet, first thing we did, we went to River Thames and we checked out Big Ben and the Ferris wheel and all kinds of festivities that were going on there, and it was the perfect day. Which, by the way, coming from Switzerland and then Paris and now London, we hadn't had a single day of rain on this entire trip. Later, I would finally find that there was just a sprinkle of rain for literally a brief hour, and that was it. And then it was back to sunshine. Okie dokie, we are here. We got off Westminster Station, and we are here in front of, lo and behold, Big Ben. That's right, Big Ben. Guys, it has been a great trip. Man, I'm tired, but it's been great. And here we are. About to get on, we're on a boat right now. We're gonna do a tour that gets us off at bus stop number 16, which has all of the best sightseeing places. And from there, we're gonna get on a bus where we'll have 24-hour validated ticket to be able to go anywhere, hop on and off wherever we want for the whole day. We are excited. Some things that I just want to share about Big Ben that I found interesting, just some historical commentary, is that, you know, this is an iconic landmark of London. And it's a huge symbol around the world. I even remember when I was a kid growing up learning about it in history books. So long before going to Europe on our first trip, I knew about Big Ben. And you know, it was a huge historical significance. It was completed in 1859. And you know, the bell chimes for the first time on July 11th of that year. And it was a symbol of the United Kingdom, the parliamentary democracy, and became a cultural icon for all of London. And it stands 315 feet tall, and the minute hands are 4.2 meters long, and they have an approximate 60 centimeter long length for the numbers as well. So it's a huge clock, basically. And of course, over time, there are some renovations, it being out in different weather throughout each year of its since its inception. And you know, some of those renovations include clock face refurbishment, repairing the tower structure, and so forth. And it's had a huge cultural impact, being on many movies, television shows, broadcasts on BBC, New Year's Eve celebrations, and so forth. It's just incredible. And another fun fact, that it's technically called the Elizabeth Tower in honor of Queen Elizabeth II, and that was in 2012. But Big Ben continues to be the name that a lot of people refer back to. So other than Big Ben and being on River Thames, we definitely had a chance to check out a lot of other things, some in which we were able to go in, and other things that we just looked at from afar, such as London Eye, the Tower of London, which has a 1,000-year history. We didn't actually go in, but we did see it and take a lot of video footage and pictures there. Now, the British Museum was something that was super awesome. We had a chance to go in and take a look at. I mean, this one apparently has over 2 million years of human history and culture. 2 million years. Some of the world famous objects include the Rosetta Stone, the Parthenon sculptures, and Egyptian mummies. It was just fantastic. We also saw, but we didn't actually have a chance to go in, was the Westminster Abbey. And of course, that's because, well, they had the fire. But at least we got to take some pictures in front of it and walk around it. Really, we just caught a lot of the vibes, just walking around, a lot of walking. And we took transportation, public transit, to get from place to place. And through it all, I was able to make some observations about London. So I just want to share about that. So, you know, I don't know if it's because they speak the same language as me, but it sounds like they're a lot louder than the Swiss and French people. They always say, when I lived in Korea and was an English teacher, that Americans are always so loud. They speak the loudest on the subway, and maybe that's just the way the English language sounds, with its tonality, inflection, the way that it comes from the throat. So maybe that's why it felt louder to me. Also, interestingly enough, there's no cell phone connection in the subway. So therefore, a lot more talking is going on between people and among people, which I liked, because the subway in Korea has cell phone connection. So people are always on their phones. I'd say 90% of people are. So it was just a refreshing thing to see. People were just talking and having a good time. Speaking of the subway, I noticed that they keep the windows open between the cars to allow a free-flowing draft of air to come through to keep it cool, because they didn't really have the air conditioner on and seemed to be a lot more conservative energy there than in America. And so, yeah, another cool feature that I noticed. Also on the subway, I felt like, and again, I'm comparing this to my life in Korea because that was the only other place I lived and experienced extensively what it's like to be in public transit. But the subway in London, the seats seemed more cushioned and more comfortable. At the same time, the ceiling was lower and the doors were super low. So for a person like me that's 6'5", yeah, this was a bit uncomfortable. But as long as I had a seat, everything was fine. Also, I found it interesting when I go to the bathrooms in London, they're very efficient when it comes to drying your hands and having a soap dispenser and the sink all next to each other. I didn't have to walk to get a paper towel, so to speak, in like I do in America, so it was very efficient. Also in our hotel room, and I don't know if this was just the specific refrigerator that we had in the hotel room, but at least the one that we had, it didn't keep things very chilled. We had to go to the convenience store and buy a Monster drink, and it was almost warm when I grabbed it from the refrigerator there, and it was the same in the hotel room. When we tried to put it in there, it still came out warm. Also, I noticed there's a lot of corgi dogs, which is funny. When I was a kid, my dream was to have a Welsh corgi. I don't know why, but I love the way the dog was shaped, how it looks, its hair and everything. I ended up getting me a golden doodle. Definitely became a dog owner, but not a corgi dog. But there's so many of those in London.